Right now on Full Custom Garage, master metalman Ian Roussel tries to turn a wild cartoon drawing into automotive reality.
I like having clients that are all on board. You know, they think I can accomplish anything.
Why not just give him the stuff and let him go?
He's got this clown car and a bunch of used parts. So it's got a long way to go, baby.
I think the only person that can pull it off is Ian.
But when things go wrong,
See already, we're off.
Ian's client is halfway around the world.
I got that picture you sent me, and holy.
It would be easy to just stack parts. I'm trying to make it look like the drawing. Everything's getting changed.
As Ian takes the project to the next level, this could be his biggest challenge yet.
Going into this bold-faced and fearless. My friend Mark, he's a great client. I've done a bunch of projects with him. The last project Mark brought down was a Henry J. He says he's got something newer and wilder than anything we've tried so far.
You know, I'm very fortunate to be one of Ian's clientele. I like Ian just to let his creativity take over the project, because however radical it becomes, the better it is. Love your weather down here, man. This is gorgeous.
Came down from Canada, and he's into the wild stuff. Definitely not into the restoration aspect of things, and that's right up my alley.
I can show you this before we actually show you the project to be. Originally, this whole idea came about by a drawing, and he's the only one that I can think of that could actually pull this one off.
He said it was a Volkswagen.
It's a Volkswagen.
Shows me this drawing of this pretty wild cartoon hot rod. I'm all on board. So it's like a front-engine Volkswagen bus hot rod thing. Just like the Ed Roth monster cars, this is right in that vein. It's just a new style on it. And I think pushing it forward is always really cool. So I was excited to see what Mark had in the trailer.
This isn't like the last thing I brought you.
Okay.
It's in a little more disrepair.
It's a mighty short Volkswagen you got there. It was not what I expected. Here come the clowns. Must have been a rare factory option. Mark pulls out this shortened VW bus and just a ton of other random parts from the trailer.
The drivetrain on this thing is, it's out of a 1965 AMC Rambler. You know, very unique. You know, you don't find them anywhere.
A fine piece of machinery. This engine looks pretty rough, but Mark says it's a runner. I don't mind seeing a crusty old engine. It's all about what's happening inside. I know we can clean and paint it. Well, somebody stepped the chassis down pretty good.
This came off a 34 Plymouth rat rod that I had bought. So I thought, well, let's throw AMC running gear in a Plymouth frame, and then now we're gonna put a Volkswagen body on it. You know, let's mix up all the...
I like having clients that are all on board. You know, they think I can accomplish anything. Unfortunately for me, the anything gets wilder and wilder. The big challenge is to make it look like the drawing. The stuff Mark's pulled out of the truck looks nothing like what we're going for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a one-of. I have my own ideas of the way this thing is kind of gonna look. To me, it's kind of rat rodish. I said, Ian, let's make this rat bus.
Mark's talking about rat rod. He wants something kind of easy to build. You know, I'm looking at this drawing and I'm seeing full custom show car, like all the way.
My time frame's kind of short. I'm kind of rushed down here to drop this off.
This is just a quick pit stop for Mark. He's heading back up north, so I got free reign to make this thing happen.
That's the excitement. Didn't Forrest Gump say it's, you get a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get? Well, that's kind of the way it is with me and Ian.
The cool factor about this setup is it's a complete bolt-together rolling chassis. I just assemble it and move on to the good stuff. I want to bolt this chassis together and then set the body in place and see where I got to cut. Hopefully this thing is square. I'm gonna have to measure off a bunch of stuff, but the good point is there are motor mounts, there are suspension mounts. Already I can see this whole frame is bent. You can see this angle here, the way it comes into the motor mount. It's pretty close to square. That one's way out. When you run into a crooked frame, that's your base of the whole driving component of the vehicle. So this thing's gonna wanna drive off the road if you let go of the steering wheel. That's probably why it was scrapped. That turns my whole world around. I'm back to the beginning. Typical basket case, that's what I specialize in. So this frame is gonna need some kind of modification. Seeing that this is bent, it's always an indicator of something else that's gone wrong. I'm just gonna bolt it all together, get it rolling, and just see where we're at. Double check everything we've got. All right, so that's a roller. I was really looking forward to just doing the creative, aesthetic portion of this build. After the situation with the chassis revealed itself, it's like I gotta start from scratch. I'm gonna cut this chassis up, man. It's the only way around it. So we're on to plan B. The frame is bent. My idea is to use the existing components in the chassis, fit them up around this engine in a proportion that looks most like the drawing. Mark says this engine has been sitting for a while, and a typical statement of, ran great when it was parked, turns over, it's not seized. I'll clean this engine up later. I want to get it in place and mock the whole car up around this engine. I learned this technique when I was 5 years old, playing blocks in the living room. It's the same process. I got an A+ on that course, by the way. I cut up this van for a project I just finished. We only used the chassis and the mechanical components. I cut the whole rig in half. While I was doing that, I was thinking ahead to this, and I saved all the sheet metal parts that we're gonna use for this one. So I'm just down to pieces of sheet metal, which is a great starting point. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna use, and that's why I gotta mock it up. So according to our schematic, there's a large hole burrowed straight through the center of the donor vehicle, and then is inserted up to the valve covers on the engine. Let's try that. I'm always really excited about a project for the first few days because that's when all the inspired stuff happens. The fun part is just the possibilities of it. You know, at this point, it's just a blank canvas and I can go in any direction I want. That's really the spice of the whole project, is figuring out what you're gonna do. This drawing is done by an artist named Johnny Jalopy. He does a lot of really far-out car illustrations that exaggerate reality. So my challenge is to take these proportions and the flavor of his drawing and transfer it into three-dimensional steel. The whole thing in starting off is just getting the parts physically on the floor, see what their dimensions are. I have a feeling this project is going to be all about proportion, and there's nothing resembling typical car proportions that I could see so far. See already, we're off. See, this is showing a short wheelbase, the tire intersecting the corner of that door. So you can see the tire should be as tall as that handle and come way forward. Mark brought this set of white wall tires. A tall, skinny white wall would be the best option, and they're just really hard to find. Mark has these two, and I'm gonna try to make them work. What I'm trying to do is make this tire look as big as possible, and the only way I'm gonna get that is making that body smaller. Well, it's apparent this whole thing just got way more involved than I first considered. By looking at the drawing, I can tell that the nose doesn't look anything like it. The doors are way out of proportion. The A-pillars are wrong. The roof is wrong. So really all I'm seeing using as a starting point is like a bare skeleton. I'm gonna cut it long ways, short ways, sideways, up ways, and down ways. Well, the whole thing with this chassis is it's set up as like a T-bucket hot rod. You know, it's a short wheelbase, big engine, big tires. That's the look. My challenge is to take this utility vehicle and somehow morph it into this cool hot rod shape. If you ever sat in an early model pickup truck, 34 Ford for instance, they're miniature. So this is just getting closer to those proportions. I basically just need to shorten the door by a foot. Any moving part, once you start sectioning, it starts to get a little sketchy. I chose to leave all the latching mechanisms and the hinge mechanism in place. That way I had a 3-point reference, 2 hinges and 1 latch. By leaving all the factory components in place, it's just a huge time saver. All I did was cut through the sheet metal and put it back together. I think I'm onto something. This is looking good. I like the proportions of the lower half of the body, but there's really no other way to go about this other than to recreate an entire new top of the car. We're not out of the woods yet, man. This is a good start. Before I get carried away with the body design, I need to build a chassis to support it. In order to get this frame squared up, I put it up on the table, cut it apart. I got it all squared up, jigged it on the table, started from the front, and just connected it all the way through. Using the dimensions from the mock-up, I moved the engine and the suspension brackets just to get them as far forward as possible. I wanted this thing to be low. So I Z'd the chassis and set it up to be super strong. In order to achieve this really short wheelbase, I took the drive shaft to a machine shop and had it splined, 22 inches shorter. With the chassis done, I'm finally where I want to be, so I can focus more on the creative part of the build. I'm gonna put this body on and see what's up. What do you think, Hellhound? Do you have anything to say? Huh? I was looking at only portions of the drawing, and I think I got those details nailed. The next step is to figure out exactly how long the rear of the bed's gonna be. So I'm gonna bring in the 2 quarter panels and mock those up. Wait a second. This quarter panel's in really bad shape. Look at all this body filler. You start cutting into old stuff and you see everybody else's modifications and repairs. The old Bondo bucket. That's the thing, it's all delaminating. Look at this. What this is an old repair. Somebody in their grand wisdom decided to rivet the panel back together after either rust or collision, and then used a metallized filler in place of a proper welding job. So this whole quarter is junk. You're pulling the paint off of a project, seeing what's beneath, you know there's gonna be body filler. It's typical old car stuff. It's really a bummer when you see rivets, cancer, really bad body panels. So this is a pretty big curveball. The driver's side turned out to be really good. There's a little filler through here, but this one was never creamed. That's totally usable. The plot thickens. I'm gonna put this good quarter panel on and see how it looks. It's all about moving forward. You can take that to the bank. I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at that, and I'm very happy with it. His picture shows the bed being a little bit bigger, but I think this nails it. The shorter bed makes the wheel look bigger, and that's a win. The remedy here is to build the vehicle with this nasty quarter panel. The last thing is replace it. The drawing only shows one angle of the car. There's a lot of design elements that I gotta come up with. There's a VW show coming up in town, and I want to get some inspiration. I've been living, you know, out in the clouds. I want to come down to earth, see what people are doing with their cars, and it's pretty darn conservative. So I see all of these single cab and double cab VW pickups. That's exactly what this drawing was based on, so it's good to check them out in 3 dimensions. The early split window VWs have that unique V shape in the nose, and then of course the split flat glass windshield. The one we're using is a later model. It has a curved glass windshield. I could see how you would short step this whole process by using one of these early models. I don't really like to take a nice early car and chop it up. I'm all about taking spare parts, making something cool, a resurrection, if you will. My task here is to use the parts I have, make it look more like the older VWs, and of course, as much like the drawing as possible. I think I can make it happen. I'm trying to move this thing along. I pulled the engine out and took the body off the chassis. My friend Jackie's an artist, and she's gonna help me paint this engine. Everything's looking good. She's got the first coat of red going on, but I knew there was a couple things I didn't want brush painted. All right, Captain, I got a plan.
What's the plan?
We're gonna paint the valve covers black, and then the whole chassis is gonna be the same thing, spray can black.
Got it.
I think the red looks great on the engine block. I think if we paint these valve covers black and then detail out the rest, it should be good. So,
Oh.
yeah, that's trouble. I'm thinking I'm gonna take these valve covers off so I can spray paint them, and underneath was just a disaster. What?
That looks awesome.
What's going on in there? There's some kind of stalactites in there. There's all kinds of corrosion. I don't know where this engine's been, but it looks like it was underwater.
So we're gonna have to clean it all out?
I don't know what we're gonna have to do. This could be toast. What is this? Look at that.
Okay.
It's pure gunk. You always know you're gonna hit walls. There's hurdles to overcome, but pulling these valve covers off and seeing this massive blob of corrosion, it like takes the wind out of your sails. I'm gonna talk to Mark. Let me take a couple pictures of this, because he's gonna be interested to see. Mark's whole gig from the start was using the existing parts. The entire chassis is built to support this driveline. So this engine we were committed to, he said it ran great when he parked it. Everybody says that. This does not speak towards that event.
When did he park it?
I think he parked it in 1959, the year before they assembled it. My design is reliant upon this engine, so I gotta talk to Mark and see what his game plan is. Just keep coloring it, at least it'll look nice, sitting in the corner, if I don't kick a hole in the freaking door. Mark is in Afghanistan. It's hard to get a hold of him, so we use text messaging pretty regularly. Yeah, Mark is in agreement. He writes, "Dang, that looks very bad." He only has access to the computer at certain times, so I'm gonna set up a Skype call with him for later. It's all about moving forward, you know? It's kind of a bummer, but there's plenty of more creative work to do. All right, so today's adventure, that does not look like that, so I'm going to make it. How's that sound? The drawing shows an earlier split window. We've got a later bay window bus. I want to make this look just like the drawing, so I have to build a whole new windshield frame and dashboard. I just took 2 pieces of sheet metal, put them in the brake, and created this flange that the window glass will attach to via a rubber gasket. Next, I made some cardboard templates that'll represent the glass. Then, I built the top and center of the frame. The roof on the drawing is a super unique shape, and I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen. When I was at the VW car show, I was looking at a bug roof from the back, and it just gave me an idea. I have one of these domes, and it's just way more pronounced than the bus roof. If you really look at the Beetle, you'll see that towards the windshield, it flattens out. It's the most curvy right above the back window. So I cut the rear portion of the roof off and stuck it on here backwards, and it worked perfect. What's not to like about that? That's it. See, his drawing has a really nose-down attitude. You don't even care. This is a breakthrough. This is a moment. It's roof still needs a lot of work, but just to get this dome and put it in place is a big breakthrough. That's the proportion. I'm using this round tube to create the front of the visor on the roof, and this is going to represent a drip rail all the way around the perimeter. Just slapping a piece of sheet metal on, looks pretty loose, ragged, so this gives the sheet metal a definite formed edge. No sharp metal, nice rounded edge, and it's strong. Now that I see this, I am genuinely impressed. It looks great. Pretty committed to replicating the drawing as close as possible, but in working with these metal shapes, I think it's given this windshield area an even cooler look. This is just a little more radical. You got some really cool dimension as compared to this, it almost looks flat. It was nice to end the day on a positive note. I'm going to talk to Mark about the engine situation tomorrow. If we can't find another engine, and this could really set us back. I got the whole front windshield established. The next big challenge is the rear portion of the cab. The drawing doesn't really show what's going on back here, so I'm leaving that open to my interpretation. I got a cool idea where I'm going to utilize the rear tailgate of the van and split it in half and make two. The portion with the rear window will be back here, and then the lower portion with this detail of the body sheet metal will stay here. Being that the cab is so much narrower, the whole rear window frame and the rear hatch have to be reconfigured. It'd be nice to just cut it in half and put it in place, but all the proportions are changed. Taking all the leftover pieces of the car and just refitting them in a way that the hinge mechanism will work and the rear hatch will open and close smoothly. It's just way smaller. So, you want to ride this thing, don't you? I know I do. That opens, you got your breeze. There's room to cruise, man. It's gonna totally work. So, the second part of this is the lower hatch. I'm gonna leave the center. It's twice as much welding. I'm gonna put both sides inward. This is gonna be a tough one to let go. This is coming out cool. Look at it, it's a miniature Volkswagen. It's tiny, it's great. Even though we're making progress on this thing, I can't get this engine dilemma out of my head. It's finally time to talk to Mark and figure this whole thing out.
Ian,
Hey man, how's it going?
over in the sandbox again, but yeah, I'm here.
It's amazing, modern technology.
I got that picture you sent me yesterday, and holy, I apologize for that engine, Ian. I didn't have any idea it was that bad.
It happens.
I've been researching that engine, and I guess AMC, they don't make a lot of them, or they don't make a lot of parts for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like hen's teeth. You can't find nothing for it. I'll find you another engine, because that whole enclosed drivetrain, I mean, it's kind of a one-off thing. It's
That was my
too
big
far
concern.
into it now.
It's absolutely critical to get the same engine and transmission because it couples to this rear end. There's an enclosed drive shaft, splines are a certain pitch, and of course the engine and transmission mount is already in place.
It's not as simple as just swapping out the engine unless we find another AMC.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, I don't want you to change what you've already done. You've got way too much work and time into the way it looks right now. It looks awesome. So I'll get a hold of my boys back up in Canada, and we'll just start a search. You just leave the engine in my hands, and hopefully I'll get a home run for you.
All right, cool. After talking with Mark, I was glad to hear that he'll get a duplicate or replacement engine. I should just carry on, and that's good news for me. Before I finish up the roof, I just wanted to wrap up a couple loose ends on the body. The rear quarter on this van was toast. It was really rotten. It was buckled in. There was no other way around it but to replace it. The interior of this cab is so small, I'm just trying to add as much room for a person to drive in. I wanted to get a good solid structure created before I finished off the top pillars. So just having everything here rigid is what I needed to set up so nothing changes shape. With the structure of the lower portion of the cab in place, now I can finish the roof off. The roof is a pretty complex shape, and I think this will be the most challenging part of the whole build. So I'm gonna lead off this restructuring of it by creating the door tops. The whole idea here is creating a nice clean door gap straight through, as well as adding support. In the end, this is all about the exterior look of the thing. You just gotta look kind of like a production car. So I'm gonna have to come in with a triangulated patch to create that radius evenly to the drip rail through here somewhere. Just like with the rest of the project, I've got my blinders on. You know, I'm working through one portion at a time, nailing that and moving on. So I get this drip edge finished and realize the part I wasn't looking at is this internal bracing. The location of this rear arch is just all wrong. You know, his drawing is pretty slick. I'm just trying to keep that vibe and bring it all the way around to the parts you don't see in the drawing. Putting this bug roof on backwards, nailed it. It looks just like the drawing, but I want to make sure that the slope curves gracefully down into the rear of the cab. I don't think that thing's doing anything. I think I can sawzall that right off. Famous last words. If I set this up with a big, tall, 90-degree rear panel, it's just gonna look weird. It's about being efficient. At this point, I could always cut way too much and patch back in, just trying to make one join, one seam across the top of the roof. And I think it's time for the old envisioning tool. Critical element in every build is the envisioning tool. You know, I don't know who else uses one of these, but I've got a number of them. To get this roof right, I'm gonna have to just focus. So you see, anything could happen with this roof line. So if that's coming up like that, I got my two marks. Yeah, see, that's kind of baseball hat style right there. The whole purpose with this technique is to just see how the roof line is gonna flow out. With the original structure in place, it was gonna look like a big hunchback. What I'm trying to do is just take this curve and make it flow gracefully right into the visor over the windshield. The whole thing about this roof and my enjoyment of it, I guess you could say, is just that I'm trying to figure it out as I go along. No preconceptions, just letting the metal tell me where to go. Thought I was gonna use this piece of the old van roof, but it was it's a lot less of a radius than I had anticipated. See, they put this little ridge and then the roof really just flattened out. I need to carry that up all the way to here. I was gonna make one. So the rear portion of the roof is gonna be scratch built. I'm gonna use the slip roller, set it up with a curve, just kind of hand form it into shape and weld it on. Hey look, it's gonna work. So to tie together the whole rear of the roof, it was the same story as the front, just a piece of round tube, just made two corners and then a center section. Each time I join the tube, I'm putting a little sleeve inside. Just helps you line everything up, tack it in place, and just move around the perimeter of the roof. This roof's got to be symmetrical, so I'm just starting with the center portion to get that arch going over the top. The left and right quarters are going to have to be made independently. It's a really complex shape on each side, and keeping them symmetrical is the goal. This is like a giant puzzle, you know, and you don't realize what the puzzle looks like until the pieces are mostly into place, and you still got some loose holes to fill in. Sometimes my dyslexia comes into play pretty well. These rear quarters are pretty complex. I'm thinking it's going to be the easiest way is to just create a series of triangular shapes, tack them together, and then hammer and dolly them into shape. So this metalwork looks pretty raw. It's got a lot of welds. That's just characteristic of this fast-paced work I'm doing. Yeah, actually from this view, that's the drawing. It's totally got the feel of it. The thing that did it was the raking of that drip rail. No car does that. So only a drawing does that. You can see he's showing a really high crown over the whole thing. I thought I was losing it in the rear area, and it did come down a bit, but it's still pretty hyper-exaggerated. Getting the roof figured out was a big hurdle, a big success, but I really want to get this engine figured out. I'm gonna get on another Skype call with Mark and figure this out.
Ian, how you doing, buddy?
Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, good, man. I am out of here in a day. So,
Oh, cool.
And I'm stoked because I got some news for you.
Yeah,
I have an engine.
right on.
I'm out of here tomorrow, so my plan is to get home, get this thing loaded, and I'm driving it down to you, and we're gonna put it in this buggy together.
That's great.
The sooner I can get it down to you, the sooner I can bring this thing home. I'd like to bring the van home with me, because otherwise I'm just coming back with an empty trailer. But I'm there to help you, buddy, so whatever it's gonna take, but I'd really like to bring this thing home.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that.
What's your time frame?
Well, I'm out of here tomorrow. So it's 2 days to get home, another 2 days to get there, so within a week, buddy.
Okay.
What do you think?
How long you staying? 6 months?
Oh, is it gonna take that long to put the engine in? Or
I don't know. I'm still.
I can stay a week.
Okay.
You can do it? I know you can.
Oh, I could do anything. Yeah, sure.
I thought I was making good progress on this, but Mark tells me he's gonna be here in a week, and he wants to take it home with him. I got a lot to do to wrap this thing up, and only a little time to do it. Even though the fabrication is not 100% finished, I needed to get this filler on here, compare it to the drawing, and just see where they're at. Just getting this thing skinned out so that it has its final appearance is a huge hurdle. Have to get finished with the last few elements of fabrication, firstly being the dashboard. I slept with this under my pillow last night, and I thought that I saw something in the dashboard. The drawing isn't very revealing on what the interior of the thing looks like, but I see this little bulge in the line of the dashboard, so I just want to incorporate that element. I'm all about just making things go quickly. So instead of forming something to be the dashboard, I got a pile of stuff, and I think I could find what I need in there. I just need to get away from this bodywork for a while, so instead of standing here in the same spot, I'm gonna move over 10 feet and dig a hole under the table. Something like that. This is a piece of a semi-truck exhaust. I'm thinking the dashboard's gonna be a semicircle, so any tubular shape. It could be a muffler, could be an exhaust pipe, who knows? I got tons of round metal shapes, and if I can find one I can cut apart, I just put it back together. I think this tube will be perfect for the dashboard. As long as it's long enough, I can split it in half. The idea is cut this thing in half, then I have twice the linear footage, mock it up in the body and see where I need to splice it. The whole idea here is simplicity. It's just gonna be a rounded shape for the dashboard, and then an element in the center that represents that curve in the drawing. This looks kind of cool, but I think it just looked better with a larger diameter. Just make a pretty good dog bowl, huh? Single serving. Muzzle, come on, muzzle. Want some water? Thirsty? Come on. Went to fill the dog's water bowl, and I had an epiphany. Wait a second. I was all set to mock up one of those other shapes on the dashboard, and it just occurred to me that I was filling up the perfect thing to go on the dashboard. I think we're just gonna trade out somebody's water bowl. Here you go, drink up. Look at that. Now that is a shape. Stainless steel. You need this? I didn't think so. Right away, I can tell this dog is attached. He's had his face in this bowl since he was born. So there's a level of attachment. I'm gonna have to break it. This is being repurposed. It's just part of what we do here. I know, it's your favorite accessory, but look at that. You have that look of detachment in your eyes. It's time to grow up. It's time for a next chapter in his development. I can put some kind of a gauge right here on the space. This is gonna be painted and finished like the rest of the car. I'm just looking for the right shape. Don't look so concerned, man. I'll get you another one. As soon as I put a weld on this thing, you know, the aroma was coming out. He could smell his saliva just roasting, and I could tell he knew something was up. You know, I'd have to taper him off, talk him down, but he came through all right. The dashboard is a really cool element, and I just wanted to look finished. I had these other little shapes that were for some water filter project. They're just little domes. I spliced them into the end of the dashboard, and it just finishes it off. Instead of seeing a rough sheet metal edge, it's a nice curved element. This is a pretty minor detail, but you need a dashboard. I need somewhere to put this set of gauges Mark gave me, and I want it to look like the drawing. Up to this point, I've been working from a line drawing, and that's really helped with the building of the structure of this. Johnny sends a color picture. He's got this really vibrant, kind of toy race car feel. To see a colored in rendering of what the whole thing's supposed to look like, that gives me an idea of the finish. I got this Cruise Night blue metallic from Eastwood, and I added some blue metal flake on top of it. I want to finish the dashboard and paint it first, just to see how it looks. This dashboard is just one hurdle along the way. This is a marathon. Seeing the color rendering of the car really made me want to make this paint job nice. The whole idea with a finished paint job is that it's mirror straight. The easiest spots to pick out are your long, flat panels. Second thing is all your edges is just trying to get these lines razor straight. This portion of the process is really something that I've been fixated on because it takes the metalwork to the whole next level. You can do great metalwork and everything, but it's always gonna need this type of finish. The better metalwork you do, the less filler you're gonna need. I got this 3M Platinum Plus body filler, and it lays out like nothing I've ever used. It's totally smooth, there's no air bubbles in it, and it sands really easy. Once I got the body work done, I was ready to move on to paint it. In an effort to stay true to the drawing, I had a guy who does stickers scan this into his machine and cut them out on his vinyl sticker cutter thinger. The whole thing with this project is proportion. If I just stuck a generic number 5 on the side, it wouldn't look like the drawing. So just like the rest of it, I'm gonna try to tailor this graphic on the door so that it fits the proportion of the vehicle, and I think that's just gonna nail it. I'm gonna use this template and make a stencil to paint the graphic on the car. It's basically a 3-color design, so I need to mask it off for that. I've been talking back and forth with Johnny all throughout the progress of this. When he sent me the color drawing of this thing, I could tell he's really pumped.
I could never imagine anybody taking a drawing of mine and building it in real life. Of course, it's a dream. You know, those are the things you hear of the legends did that stuff. You know, the Ross, the Barris, you know, guys like that. Those are guys that took creation from a paper and made him a moving machine that turned into these entities on their own. When I first heard about it, one of my friends on Facebook had messaged me that he saw on Ian's page a post with a picture of my drawing saying, you gotta give the people what they want.
I sent Johnny a message, told him, hey, we're gonna build this thing, what do you think?
And at that moment I was like, really? Are you kidding me? Cheesy to say a dream come true kind of thing, but you know, it is, you know, that's.
I'm glad that Johnny's on board. Super excited. It makes me really want to do this thing right, get all the details in order. With the metal work, you're creeping up on an end result, but the paint work, you don't realize it until you peel back the wrapper. The whole thing with paint work is it's all setup time. Just like with the block sanding, this graphic takes a ton of time to lay out with the tape work. You don't realize the reward until you peel back the tape, so it's all prep in any paint job. That looks great. The 5 is definitely bigger than the original one, And it looks like the drawing. I'm stoked. Getting this tape peeled back, I could see that all the work I did with the razor blade and fastening the tape to the door came out with a really good result. Yeah, look at that. Looks like a giant cartoon. Seeing this thing come from just a pile of parts to where it's progressed to now makes me just want to keep on pushing, make this thing into a full custom show car.
On the next episode of Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel continues the transformation of the cartoon hot rod.
He can make anything out of nothing.
Back of the cab opens.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. Our plan was here. Ian takes it to here.
Mark pulled the engine out and I could tell this dude is serious.
But when things go wrong,
My heart just sank. Ian's looking at me like, you're right.
and with his client out of the game, Ian switches the lineup.
While Mark's gone, I really want to surprise him. I want to make some progress on his Henry J.
I leave the guy for a day and a half, and I come back, and bam, truly amazing.
With the team back together, it's all hands on deck.
Mark is out of his mind. Johnny is totally charged up about this. There's sawdust everywhere. There's parts and pieces all over the place. We're in the trenches.